Give me another pic. What you see is a building. Nice looking building, dome. What's that on top of the building? Have you ever asked that question? The Latin phrase on there is also on your money. It means out of many, one. And this thing sits on top of the lawmakers, your House and your Senate. And they have, man, this is going to get deep. They have a God. When we did our series on the world system, and we talked about that, and we wondered and we were speculating who the God is, I'm going to show you a glimpse into that and who it is, but it's much deeper than that. So this thing, this 19-foot tall statue sits on top of this whole thing. Give me another slide. That's the head of it when it was getting put up. You can see that high above the city there, and they're getting ready to secure the statue in place. This is Minerva, the Greek goddess of war. Christian nation, right?
Well,
next slide. The statue, and then they call it Statue of Freedom. Statue of Freedom, I thought that was the Statue of Liberty. Even if it is, go research what that is. Okay. It crests the helmet and the sword, suggesting she is prepared to protect the nation, are more commonly associated with Minerva or Bellona, Roman goddess of war. The history of the statue's design explains why she wears a helmet rather than a library cap. The story of her casting reveals that some of her people who worked to create freedom were themselves not free. Have we ever been made to work on symbols of freedom and ourselves not been free? Did that ever happen?
Come on.
I don't know. Next slide. But even deeper than what you see on the outside. Because even though you saw that, you never wonder what it was. Again, let me remind you what we're doing here. We're talking about living in the place where God tells us, make known my manifold wisdom. Tell the world, influence it, bring the light. Okay, let's do that. But you live in a place where you can get in trouble. You say, well, I don't see nobody getting locked. Don't worry about what you see. The law exists. It's already in place. Because see, what has happened in history has taught us you ain't got to see it, but as long as the law is there, so when you speak out against it and they start enforcing it, then you're going to be looking like, wait a minute, this ain't right. Read. It's right there. But we don't do anything. We stay on the outside of the building thinking we know something when the deeper thing is on the inside. If you were to go on the inside of this building and go to the center of the rotunda, by the way, I have never been to D.C. But how would I know this? Because you got to stop acting like everybody is for you.
All right.
Minerva is a goddess of war. The Bible done told you in a...
That's right.
Come on now. I'm just making you be able to see it physically. So when you go in the building, there's a painting up there. I don't know what that is. Another slide. Kind of look familiar. It resembles the type of things you would see in the Sistine Chapel. Y'all remember that fake painting of the fake God touching the fake man, and that was supposed to be God touching Adam, who looks like somebody else with recessive genes that science tells us, they tell us, ain't no way you can get the dominant from recessive. You got to have the dominant first in order to get the recessive. So tell me, how was that the beginning? But don't, y'all, come on, y'all.
It's the masters.
This looks like some type of heavenly seed. And to them, it is a heavenly seed. It's just that who sits in the place of God ain't the God you think.
All right.
Give me another. Give me another. Give me another. Who is that?
Ooh.
No, not right there.
Y'all got $1? Look like the so-called first president of these United States of America. I say it's so-called. Go do your research. What in the world have we seen? I don't know if y'all can see this on the next slide. If they can't see it, we'll just go back to the picture. You might can't read that. I'll read it to you. Go back to the picture we just had showed them. I'll just read it. This is a painting called The Apotheosis of Washington. Y'all know what apotheosis is? Highest point in development of something, culmination of climate. That's the recent definition. This was before that, when the painting was done. Elevation, listen close. Elevation of someone to divine status or deification. It comes from the Greek. The original word breakdown, apo means from, and theosis or theos means God. So when you put the word together, the original meaning of this is an elevation of a person to godhood. Where do you live? I added this one for comic relief. Let's go to there. Y'all want to see the first Captain America? That's on the painting. First Captain America was a woman depicted in the apotheosis of Washington. Now this all sounds foreign, and where you going? I'm saying, do not be fooled.
Well,
do not be delirious about where you are and what we have been called to do. Because as long as we can continue to look at each other as other folk, and that's happening to them, and we say stupid junk like, I'm not this, I'm an American. Do you really know? All right. I wanted to be a little bit more excited, but I feel like this is in me, y'all. I have to do it. So you wonder, why is this the case? Is this all just a coincidence? It gets even stranger than that. Because the owl is a symbol of wisdom. Some of y'all gonna see and not even see. Some of y'all see and not even see.
there's the owl.
Give me another. But you done seen it before, but you did not see. Give me another. You ain't looking. Some stuff is hidden in plain.
Right in front of you. Plain sight.
Give me another. Just in case you didn't see it the first 2 or 3 times. It's there. There's no doubt about it. You can pull out your money and see it. It's there. All right, now that we've gone through all of that, let's bring it back to the scripture. Let me show you some things and teach you some other things. Some of you have been thoroughly shocked. Some of you convinced and understand where you are now. Some of you understand, okay, I need to be with God because this thing here, this place that I'm living in is totally against the power of God. So what are you going to do about it? But for those that you still, some of y'all still ain't there and don't understand why you need power outside, listen, of time, space, and matter to deal with this problem. Because this problem goes so far, ain't no way you think you going and buying you a firearm is going to keep you safe. Really?
Amen.
That might help you personally, but I used to listen to Outkast, and real quick line, he said, they made them gags. They got some stuff that'll blow out your back. What he was saying was, yeah, you got a gun, but do you not know they on a whole nother level? Our military people know this, but it's usually the civilians, or you ain't never been in the military, you think you're going to do something because you got you an AK. I got a chopper. Man, shut up. Yeah. Ain't going to do nothing. Ain't going to do nothing. But what am I saying? You need to understand who God is outside of time, space, and matter, because you need something spiritual to deal with spiritual wickedness in high places. And this is why he says the church makes known the manifold wisdom of God right here. And then it said, also you're making this known in the heavenly places. What are you saying? I'm saying that when we get exposed and we know this, and then we go forth understanding who we are, whose we are, and we go forth in real power, even the very realm of the non-physical and where Satan is has to shake and tremble, because the people of God, they actually know what they're up against now. When you can keep the enemy ignorant and they don't know, they'll come out right where you want them. They'll run outside because they think they can do something with you. And every time we wonder why we keep losing our young men, why are we losing our, because we haven't told them what's really real. We haven't dealt with the real thing. They running out there thinking they can handle this world, and you can't, because if you ain't got something spiritual on your side, it's going to run you into the ground. It will grind you up and spit you out. Even better, they'll write a 13th Amendment in the beginning, making you think that abolishes everything and making you think it free. And then it says a little word like except.
Yep.
Slavery ain't abolished.
Nope.
We just put conditions on it.
Yep.